So where do we start with this then, just to go back, because it's one of those things, if you've never picked up a pen to do calligraphy before, is there any sort of golden tips to start with, or is it roll your sleeves up and have a go?
Well, both really. You can dive straight in and see what it does, or you can sort of be more structured with it, really. So I'll open this tin here, and you do get this lovely book which shows you some tips and some lettering styles as well. Nice. And you've got your grid sheet that you can practice on making these simple marks.
Right.
And then you've got some alphabets as well as reference, and that lovely Gothic one there. So that's
so you have
really
something to
lovely.
aim towards.
Yes.
That's nice.
And then there's a little note in here just to say that the thicker 2.5mm nib is so wide that you do need to write slowly with it to allow the ink to flow across the nib. Yeah. So this is a slow process, so it's best not to go too quick.
No, but I think
too quick with it.
I would imagine there's a lot of people that are enjoying that little bit of time away from a computer screen. It's nice to take your time. We don't have to rush every project. So, you know, it's nice when to sort of go, but my time, sort of relax with that. Yeah, lovely. Yeah.
So this pad's really lovely to go with the pens. It's the special calligraphy paper, and it's like a parchment style, and it's sort of a creamy, lovely creamy colour. So you haven't got all that white space to fill. You've got this lovely sort of texture looking paper, and it is super smooth. So it's just this look. And then I've designed this grid sheet to go with the pad. So you've got the different sizes for the different nibs, and I've sort of put there a reference.
Oh, okay. That's brilliant.
To those as well. And then this goes underneath, and then you can clearly see the grid underneath.
Got you.
So if I just dive in and sort of show. And a good tip with a nib, that if you start doing a little checkered line with the, with the width of the nib itself, so the first 5, so if you draw a line from the bottom, so you count 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I want 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So count 5 and then draw another line, and then that one's for the ascenders and the capitals. So that's how to get like a good width of the pen nib. To do 5 of these little checkers and then 2 for the top. So then when you start to write a word, then you can sort of, that's like your X height sort of thing.
Right.
For all the lower cases. And then the capitals go from the top line. So whatever nib you use, you can do this to start with if you want, but the grid sheets is sort of done for you.
Yes, yeah.
So you've got your baseline and your X height, and then the ascenders and a descender line as well. So that's just a quick judge.
But I just really enjoyed you doing the letter D.
I don't know why I chose that. But just make these marks, because it's all about holding the pen at an angle.
Oh, okay.
So you don't hold it straight and right, you hold it at an angle. So that when you get this angle here, it's actually very fine.
Right.
But that doesn't happen if you hold the pen straight like that. If you hold it at an angle, then you get this lovely.
And I suppose once you've got that technique, the pen's doing the work for you in many ways.
Yes, it's just holding it at the right angle when you write, so there's no adding pressure or anything like that, like a dip pen, wood calligraphy pen. Yeah. You have to do that, but with this, it's just simply holding it and then just writing it, writing with it on an angle like that. So. Yeah, it's just getting used to handling it, really, and having a go with it.
And I imagine there's, again, maybe, looking at that now, and again, just that tip of knowing how to handle the actual pen itself, is the results will come. The results are going to come, and it might just take, again, more time to perfect it and to get it there, and there's different ones in there, different styles, again, that you saw that's in the instruction booklet as well to go through. But just think about all the projects that you could personalise and still have that wow factor on the sentiment, on the name of the person, on the age or the date of the wedding that you're doing, or the christening, for example, without having to do all the stamping, you might want to do it with pen. And I think there is that extra nice touch. It's like, I think we all still love a handwritten letter when they come.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than an email, isn't there?
And envelopes look so beautiful,
envelopes,
don't they?
yeah, absolutely.
With that lovely writing on the front.
Yeah,
Yes,
really
yeah.
lovely. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, Sue. Yes,
That's
continue
all right.
on. It's great.
So I'm just going to go ahead and sort of show you a little project. So I've got one of these lovely papers here. I think it's 90 GSM. It doesn't feel like that. It's actually very crisp, very smooth. It folds beautifully. I do adore this paper. So I've folded it into 4, and then I'm just going to fold these pieces in because I'm going to make a little mini
You're not doing
book.
that thing I did at school, are you, when you hold it together and go red, blue, red, blue?
Yeah, you can make one of those and write your own little sneaky quotes.
Oh, I like it, yeah.
Right, so I'm just doing this sort of technique where you can make a book out of one page and one sheet rather, and create lots of pages.
Oh, lovely.
So I'm folding it up like this and pushing these two together, and then I'm just going to fold it down. I just find that writing quotes is a lovely way to practice with your lettering.
Right, yeah.
So I'm just making a little book of quotes, really. I'll cut that and then fold that back.
Something like this would be lovely. People are doing journals, making journals, and they've got all those lovely little pockets that you create in your pages, and then to have a lovely little fold-out page like this to come out. That's great. I love that.
So you've got all these pages. You just, glue them together. So obviously, then I can get my grid, and if I work out what, so that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Because when you unfold it, it all goes in different, upside down and different things like that.
I see. Oh, right,
like
yes.
there. So if I chose page 4 and I wanted to put this over there so I can see my grid lines, then I'll take my that's the thickest pen. I do love this pen.
Which is that the 2?
The 2.5.
2.5.
Yes, lovely. I do like this. I do like this Gothic style.
Really nice, this.
Even just a few words on a page, it's just a little practice now and then. You don't have to think, oh, I have to write loads and loads of things. And then you could end up with a page like this. And also, because the inks are all watercoloured, then you can just draw on them. See, I'm going fast and it's not working so well. I have to go slowly.
So it's
slowly, yeah. And then we've got those lovely brushes that I think that are when you check out, I think you've got an option to buy selection of lovely brushes. And then this paper does take a bit of water as well. It might sort of ripple slightly, but you can also always put it under a book and then it'll flatten out. But it will take some water.
It's really
Just
not.
trying
I'm not
to
sure
create some flames there.
You can see, and you can see the difference in the colour from the sheets as well. You got there from the white from behind, what's underneath there, and it has got that lovely oldie worldy feel. You imagine it being a scroll.
Yes,
it's that kind of.
Yes, I'd love to sort of screw one up and ink the edges. And write like a, I don't know, some.
Put a treasure map on there.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to say some instructions to find some treasure. So, and also, why not make one out of the tracing paper? Because this is absolutely fabulous quality. And then with the tracing paper, you've got even clearer view of the lines.
Of the lines.
And then you can also, if you wanted to, you could sort of write it in pencil, sort of briefly, and then use this to exactly go over where you want to. So it just makes you sort of less fearful about sort of writing onto paper when you can see more about what you're doing. And then if you just cut some basic sort of leaves, then you can slot them in between.
Oh, yeah.
So that each page doesn't show through, sort of thing. So if you could insert this paper in between, so that's another sort of option for doing it as well.
Nice idea, yeah.
And then for the front cover, I've cut some of that lovely jumbo watercolour card right at the end because it's lovely and thick.
Yeah, 300 GSM that.
And then another good tip to do, if I slide this in, is that the pens all look the same, And I've got both sets there, so I've just sort of lined them up in their sort of the thickness of the nibs and the colours of the ink, so I know which one I'm picking up, so I don't have to keep sort of, you know, going to find them all, sort of thing. So with this one, I'm just going to draw a border around my front cover in this lovely turquoise colour. This is amazing, this coloured ink. And then what I'm going to do is, again with this watercolour paper, you can touch it with a bit of water and it just bleeds out.
So I suppose you could do that with each of the, with your wording as well, then, if you wanted to just give a little bit of extra shadow behind a bit of bleeding out.
Yeah, you could, have some experiment and have some fun with it. A lot of the times that I use this ink to create like a background to start with.
Right.
And then, because it's the same colour then, and then do the lettering over the top. So I won't go all the way around and bore you with that, but basically if I bring this example in.
And what's the sort of drying time for these inks to work with?
Oh, yeah, very dry, quickly.
Quite quick?
Yeah, quite quick. I mean, sometimes when you end a stroke, you get a little extra ink.
Yeah, okay.
Like when you lift off the pen. So if you're wanting to sort of rub out pencil lines and things, I'd be careful of that, because you could be rubbing away and that little area will take longer to dry.
Right,
and then it might smudge. But the pens work super nice on this textured watercolour card as well, as you can see here. And this is the 2mm nib.
They look really nice, actually. I was just thinking, even if you were to do little squares like you've cut out from the 300 GSM from the watercolour pads, just those cut out and put onto another card or another project that you're working, just to give that different texture. But it really allows the pen to go to its...
again, you could do it on a smaller scale and just cut out the ones that you like.
Yes, They are lovely.
Here's the sort of all the separate pages that are sort of decorated with different styles and go to town with different colours. This is one that I've inked the background with, because you get that gorgeous purple in the tin set. And then you've got the same colour then to write over the top. And you can use the ink to splash with. If you scribble onto a glass mat, you know, with the pen lightly, just to put a bit of ink on there and then pick up that ink to do the background and splash with it as well. I just think it might be a cute gift sort of thing. You could do some inspirational sort of quotes and things. And
well, like I say, I think with people that like their journals and, you know, for things like that, you can pop in there and then bring out that and then to have all these lovely inspirational quotes, you know, or memories, you know, or whatever it is you're putting in. But there's something about, it's actually, I'm looking at ink in a different art form now, as a different material. You know, when we talk with different talk about pens and paint, but I've never thought about it as a medium to work with, as you are doing, almost like watercolour, but with ink.
Gorgeous.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's more translucent, I think, and it moves very fast.
Right.
If you know, touch water with it, it just races away, and it does act differently from watercolour paints and things like that. It's absolutely fabulous. Yeah, and the intense of colour. And here I've just basically done writing that you would do at school, very sort of round and basic.
Right.
But holding that pen at a slight angle, you know, even that looks reasonable. Oh,
definitely.
Doesn't it? Even when you do sort of think about sort of doing child writing almost when you're at school.
Yeah.
So it can be really easy. You know, don't think that you have to do, you know, all this fancy swirling and this kind of thing yet. You know, just practice on your basic letter shapes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've got, like you say, you do get inspiration actually within the tin as well if you're going to go for those, because you get some ideas that will take you through to look at. So you don't have to run before you can walk. Take it step by step. It's one of those you can enjoy. I suppose you're really enjoying the learning of these as well. I'm really loving this.